Hey, welcome to BS and Viewpoints. I am Cuddy Coastal.
And I'm Winston. How's it going, people?
It's going great. We dealing with this post-election 2020. You know what? I saw Donald Trump yesterday.
You did?
Yeah, he's already moved to another country. He's going to run the office in the last 70 days, and he's in the great confines of Ireland. He's gonna. I'm in the great confines of Ireland. I'm just gonna stay there, and Baring and Melania, they're doing fine, and yeah, beautiful day. Yeah, but it. Some parts of the election was very interesting. It's seemingly over. Lawsuits, but when you're a kid or you act like a kid and you hate losing, then this is what I expected. I didn't expect somebody to just concede like an adult. I expected this person to act the way they always acted. But you got to think, most people are like, oh, he's doing this. This has been this man's pattern with all his business dealings. He's always
Yeah.
just filed a lot of lawsuits. He files lawsuits because he believes in the lawsuit at the end of the day, he's going to get what he wants, or he's going to give up less of what he doesn't want to give up, which means for him, that's a win. And he cares about wins and losses. He's never lost technically because in his mind, he always says he had enough money to win. So he wins at everything. That's the American way. You have enough money just about winning anything.
Yeah.
Or you can stretch it out to the point where these people will concede and take less than what they were supposed to. So in your mind, it's a win. In actuality, you just got over on somebody.
Or like, was it Dutch Bank just did forgave him 280 million dollars?
Yeah, that's what happens when you got power because he's going to do something special for him if he already hadn't done that.
No, they did this before he got in office.
Oh yeah, because he's running for office and they're
No,
political.
because they decided to sue him because he decided to sue them, and they just was like they got tired of dealing with it.
Sometimes it's better to let go, live
Yeah,
and let learn.
that's what they did.
Wash your hands with it. But yeah, I noticed this on the election coverage, and it was a little interesting. What's your take on it? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you my spiel, and you can tell me what's your take on it. The first, I was, paying attention, and I've seen all the media outlets keep saying black women, not black people, won this election for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I'm like, why not black people? Why are you being so divisive towards the black male? If you look at Milwaukee, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Flint, you know what I mean, Ypsi, Ann Arbor, Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, Philadelphia, Allentown, I mean, Atlanta, Savannah, these states that he barely won, if you take away maybe the, 30, 40,000 black male voters, you're still losing some of these states.
Yeah.
So it's real interesting. Maybe not Philadelphia as much. Maybe you go 100,000 in, PA. But if you take away black male voters, I just see they say black women, and I'm just like, I felt like it's being divisive. I didn't even see black women pushing this agenda. I saw the media pushing this agenda. And it's like, it kind of still makes us divisive where we're the only group of people who are divisive anyway. And now you're like kind of in a way, in a sense, making us more divisive. I know you're shining the light on black women, and it's definitely black girl magic. And without like people like Tiffany Cross, Stacey Abrams, Kamala Harris, Susan Rice, you have a lot of strong sisters who have paved the way and done a lot of amazing things for us. And those are just the ones I named. There could be even more. If I missed your name, I'm sorry. I still love you, sisters. I know y'all definitely the queens. Without you, there's no us. I am definitely cognizant of that. But I felt like the media, the mainstream media, has just been pushing black women. Black women did this. Black women did that, and that's great because most cases they did do that. But without the black vote, period, you don't get the election. I want to say we're the only one that voted over 70%, and we actually voted over 80% to elect Joe Biden. I don't think no other ethnicity voted over 80% for a candidate but us. And it's just like, it's kind of sad to see it because everybody, you want to uplift your sisters and big up to them. But I felt like they kind of just said black women. And I talked to some black men and they were like, and they would talk to some black women and they're like, yeah, that's kind of like, you think about it, it's kind of wrong in a sense. Because I felt like it's being divisive. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's the narrative they always want to, push. Black men don't vote. Then, but we got to remember before this, they were trying to push a narrative that a lot of black men said they were voting for Trump. I've never met somebody who said they were voting for Trump that was black, but they were trying to push this in the media, and I seen it. I'm like, and my wife came to me and told me that. I'm like, I don't think that's right. I'm thinking they're just saying that, but most people aren't voting for Trump because it's voting against their own interests. But
I
that's
mean, you got your Little Waynes and your Kanye West. But you
Again,
also got your Candace Owens and some other
I
females that
said
are
most,
yeah, exactly.
but
And I didn't see it.
like I don't
I didn't see
understand it.
it.
But again, I've never seen anybody who came by and asked me about a poll for any of this stuff. So the mainstream media, most of the crap they run really is just a very small portion of the actual story. It's never truly the whole story. So
Because at the end of the day, 57% of white people still voted for Donald Trump.
yeah,
57%. That's the majority.
because no matter what, without both of us, the black male and female, Biden doesn't win.
Well, it's an interesting
But
take on it.
let them have their story because they're going to continue running whatever kind of stories they want about us
Yeah, yeah,
until we have more media outlets to run our side of the story.
yeah. I've noticed that. A few other things I've noticed. I noticed one thing: the commercials. Have you been to commercials recently?
Yeah,
My friend brought this up, and I said I'm willing to debate any topic with anybody on any time. 'Cause I'm willing to learn. I've been noticing that ever since my friend brought it up. I won't throw names out there to protect the innocent or shed light on the guilty. I won't do either of that. I've been noticing a lot of commercials. Have you seen it where it's usually a black female with another ethnicity guy, sometimes white, usually mostly white. But
yeah.
have you seen that? And it's been like not just one, it's been a lot. Somebody brought it to my attention. I seen it. I'm like, really? I'm like, I don't believe that. And then you see it, and I'm just like, wow. And
Well, it's because that's acceptable to their community.
break it down for me.
Well, it's just always been that's always been more acceptable than a black man with a white woman.
Hmm.
If a white woman bought back in the day, if a black woman bought a well, if a white woman bought a black man home, she catch a lot of gruff, even get maybe even disowned by her family a lot of times. But if a white dude told his dad that he slept with a black girl, he get a high five. It's the double standard that they've always had. But then again, you know, it's always a double standard between men and women in dating. That's the way it is with every race when it comes to us. Every other race is so willing to come and date our women, take our women, be with our women, sleep with our women, marry our women, have kids with our women, then leave our women. But they would damn near kill their daughters if they mess with us.
Yeah, very intriguing. I've definitely seen that and noticed that to be true as far as that. But why do you think that is?
No one respects us. They think we're low.
Yeah.
They don't respect the black man, and them taking our women is kind of them showing us they don't respect us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's wrong for you to date or marry outside your race. Love who you love.
I agree. Love who you love.
But I've heard this from people of other races, not white, other races from other countries, about how they feel about us and how they feel about our women. And a lot of them basically say like they don't respect the black man at all, and they don't respect us as a man, and that's why they constantly try to take our women.
Yeah, for some of them, it's actually. I was talking to another friend of mine. We were in just different group chats, and they was just like that was like the thing. Like the thing was literally like, hey, kind of like sowing my royal oats. Remember on Coming to America, where you just want
Yeah,
to go around and kind of do whatever you want to with different women of different backgrounds. And it was just like, man, I gotta give me a black chick. Like that was their whole thinking. Like they just came out and plausibly said that, like, hey, no, they didn't say. They said they knew friends who wanted to. Let me recant that. I don't want to throw them under the bus. They were just like, they, knew had some friends, they so-called friends, not my friend. It was just like, hey, you know, I gotta mess with some black girls before I get married. I'd say I'm a married one. I just want to, just want to see what that be like. And it's like, it's like, it's crazy. We're like fetishized, like people, fetish us. And when I first heard that narrative, as far as when I first started paying attention to the narrative of the commercials with the black woman and the white man, or, any other man other than a black man, or when they do sometimes use black women with black men, usually either the kids or the woman's like multiracial. It's never like
yeah,
a dark-skinned guy, dark-skinned girl. But remember that Kanye West song where he redid Jamie Foxx
yeah,
with Jamie Foxx Gold Digger. He said
yeah,
when he get on he asked for a white girl. I
yeah.
felt like that might even be the true case for maybe black women now in some cases. I feel like some of them are taught to like get on, and when you start making it, hey, I'm only gonna date white men or another ethnicity. I'm too good for black men now, just like black men have done for a long time. And both of you are wrong by this, because if marry who you love, for why you love them. Don't marry them just because they're a different ethnicity or you deem them to be more righter than you. Because I've seen black men. Because I'm not gonna abstain or not get on black men's cases. I'm on everybody's case. Like I'm gonna just keep it 100. Like you should marry who you love. I've seen some people like, oh, I would never, I want to say was it Wesley Snipes? Tay Diggs talked about, them
Yeah.
never marrying a black girl, never dating a black girl. And then, you see, different ethnicities. I remember Venus Williams had this thing where she said how Kobe Bryant looked at her and she thought she was like so ugly.
Oh, I didn't. I never heard that one.
Yeah, I heard that one. As far as that, that's how she felt. And some people are huge proponents for interracial marriages, and I want to say we're the only group of people that practice that, like they preach that say you should just go do that, not fall in love with who you love. But I've seen a lot of people, even Africans, like, hey,
Yeah.
we marry Africans. I've seen white people like, hey, marry white people. But then if it doesn't work, then you should go marry who you love. But us is like, don't even try with your own people. Go marry interracially first, and then come on back.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Well,
it's
that's kind
different
of a
to.
new thing because like there's a lot of families old schools. If you brought home anybody other than the black person, you had to fight. You had to fight grandma.
But those people are dead. Those grandmothers are dead. You got
Yeah,
grandmothers,
I know people
grandmamas,
that.
grandmas in the club now, right now, shaking it.
Yeah, I
In
know
some
that.
cases, there are some amazing grandmothers,
I
and
know
there's
grandmas are dead, but I'm just saying.
yeah, I've seen a lot of families break up with the lack of that maternal or
Yeah,
that person that grandmother or that grandfather, and they're held the family together. Now that person's gone, everybody's kind of do their own thing. But yeah, it was big. I just believe that I just believe it to the point where, and I'm bringing this up again. I'm maybe beating a drum. Like some people don't love themselves, so they see anybody else as superior than us. So they want somebody superior than us. That's why you see some guys, they don't even marry for love. They say, oh, give me a white girl. It was funny. I was looking at this post on Instagram. I sent it to you a minute ago. And it was all these young black boys, and it was like black girls or white girls. And they all went towards the white girl. And I was like, it was a shame. It like hurt me in so many different ways to say this is a generation. They just all rather, don't even look at themselves as being equal. So that just means you don't even look at your mom as pretty. If
yeah,
you fall in love with a white girl, that's completely fine. That's your life and that's up to you. I'm not saying I'm not for that. I'm saying love who you love, but to the point where your little kids, these are like teenagers, and you completely said I only get to date light skinned or other ethnicities. I don't even date brown skinned or dark skinned women, and it's kind of sad. And I've seen some girls do that. I've seen some girls, some sisters be like, oh, I only do the swirl. And then I
uh,
messaged this sister and she's like, I only do swirl. And I'm like, okay, what is that? She's like, I only date white guys. And she was like, I dated far too many black. I had some bad experiences with black guys. And I'm like, okay, so what are your black guys? She said, oh well, he's so drugged. And I'm like, well, is he even really a man? And does he even have to be construed as black? You know what I mean? Like you had a bad relationship because the person you chose and you choosing was terrible for you.
well, honestly, but that's the whole thing behind a lot of people who don't like dating within their race when it comes to us. Like, I know a lot of other women and other races are ride or die for their man, even though they might have had some bad experiences with men of their own race. They go try another man of their own race that was maybe doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
But we as black men, a lot of us are so idiotic that we don't treat the women in our families correctly.
We right. Preach
And
on it.
and because of that, when you mistreat your own sisters, your nieces, your aunts, you mistreat the women in your family, or you've been mistreated by the women in your family. Yeah, it makes you not like people that look like you because the people who are supposed to be the closest to you were the ones taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
So if you and I'm sorry for people who that's happened to,
Mm-hmm.
but I've had really bad experiences with black women. I've had really great experiences with black women,
Same here.
and I have sort of dated outside of my race every once in a while, but not very much. And I don't really have any problem with anybody else dating outside. Well, especially black men dating, outside my race. Because when I was single, I felt like it always left more black women for me to try to get to meet till I found the one I wanted.
That's just a pure greed, but I can feel it. I can feel it. Same here. Same here. You
Because to
know.
me, it's nothing better. Because ain't nobody gonna understand you like someone who's been through some of the stuff you've been through. But nowadays, since we're leaning more towards places more than races with a lot of shit, there's some people of other races that are going through some of the same shit we're going through, and Y'all might run into each other and y'all might fall in love, and that's fine. But to X out a whole group of people just because of your bad experiences,
And you're that group of people on
and that
top
group of
of
people is
that.
you, is the person you see in the mirror. That's just kind of messed up. I ran across, man, when you lived in Philly, I think it was like two chicks y'all introduced me to, who said they don't date black American men, but they wanted to date me,
Yeah,
and that kind of pissed me off. Like,
it's a stigmatism. I was
why?
married.
But why tell me that? Why did you have to start off with, hey, I normally don't date black American men, but I kind of like you. You're different.
Yeah, I got that a lot. I was married to a woman from Africa. Big shouts out to the queens in Africa. Big shout out to sisters everywhere. And it didn't work. Me and her are still good friends. We talk all the time. We have a kid together. But, she said I'd never dated an African American man, and I would never not say that again because you proved to be different. And even though it didn't work, proved to be different, and we're still friends to this day. And it's not because it's a built up stigmatism even with African American men, as far as even African women. It's just like you would think the stereotype would stop, but we as men, I will say, have to do better because at the end of the day, it's yin and yang. We're like as far as men and women, we're a team, and we have to have each other's strengths and weaknesses at hand. And I feel like we need to do better with that. And I feel like we don't do everything we need to do, but we definitely need to man up. But part of my reason for why this happened is you got to think about it. This country has made it prevalent and easier for you to stay in a fatherless home than to stay in a father home.
Yeah, but studies have proven black men, even when they're not in the home, still are more involved in their children's lives than most other races. But
Granted.
the thing is, you got to remember, it's been a smear campaign since the end of slavery on us.
Mm-hmm.
A really big smear campaign. No one else has to prove that they're worthy of no other group of people had to prove that they were worthy of respect to everybody else in the world other than us.
Yeah,
No one else has to prove it. No one else, go to other countries and automatically get, looked down upon.
exactly.
Not only are we black, but we're Americans. And because Americans are loud, lazy, inconsiderate a-holes, and we're black, we must be worse than regular Americans. You're laughing, but that's the way a lot of people feel.
No, it's completely
Because
true.
you even got to look at it. People they show on the news, like I'm trying to think, Dave Chappelle kind of made this point. When something happens, they don't go to the people who look normal and standing there watching, like maybe they might have known what happened. They look normal. They go to the person that looks like they're drugged out of their mind and go talk to them. The only thing that gets covered is the crazy, the loud, the
McDonald's. I remember DOU made fun of that
yeah,
dude as far as in Cleveland. He said, I was on my way to McDonald's.
yeah. But if that's
and
all they see, that's what they expect. Just like all we see. Like I used to hang out. I used to work at Disney World, and I used to hang out with a lot of people from all over the world.
mm-hmm,
And they met me. They was like, black. After meeting the black people here, you're nothing like what the media
mm-hmm.
portrays you guys as. And I'm like, yeah, they completely show us wrong. And I'm like, you're about what I expected from you guys. You guys are just regular people who do regular stuff.
Yeah,
And they was like, yeah, but a lot of black people in this country ask us dumb questions like, how does it feel to wear shoes for the first time? Or do you like living in these buildings better than your huts? And people actually ask these people these questions. But these are the reason. Our ignorance is the reason why some people don't like us.
our ignorance, but you got to think our
But our
school system teaches us nothing about that. And then we don't even, in some cases, in most cases, we don't even aspire to learn about that. I learned about that.
it's
I got asked that question myself because I said I was married to an African woman, and they was like, hey, how many, how does it feel for her to live in a house? How does it feel for her to wear shoes? I'm like, look, she got more pair of shoes than you have because I bought them and I was a sneakerhead. So I made sure she had shoes. And she already had a lot of shoes before I knew her, but I made sure she definitely got more shoes than you. And we own a house and we got cars. So I know what it is. So do not put my queen down just because, that's how you feel and that's how you see. What people don't understand, if you go look at the skylines in places like Nairobi and Lagos and, Johannesburg and different places, it is a metropolitan city
no, you ain't even
there.
got to go there. You can go to a lot of the small. They have a lot of cities and a lot of different
African countries. I just
African
named a few of
countries.
them.
Like not even the major ones, because like I said, I hung out with a lot of people, and they used to show me their hometowns, and it was like a mid-sized town in America.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the problem is our is the media influence on the way we look at each other.
We don't
We don't strive to look further than what they just show us on TV. We believe what they
exactly,
show us on TV, and they believe
exactly,
the same thing about us. They
exactly.
believe all of us are criminals, loud,
I'm loud, but I'm not a criminal.
and uneducated because that's what they show on TV. Once they
Hmm.
get over here and they meet us, they're like, "Oh, you guys are actually cool."
Yeah,
And when we meet them, we feel the same way. But it's not just Africans; it's pretty much every African descent nation. They try to put this thing so that we don't unite.
yeah.
Some of them even told me that like when they first got here, they got sat in a room and were told not to associate with us, because as of now, you guys are immigrants, so you guys will be treated better than them.
Hmm.
But if you start associating with them, you will be treated as criminals just like they are.
Hmm.
And I didn't believe them at first until a whole bunch of them told me this,
Yeah.
because I thought there was no way in hell that our government would be that callous, but they are.
Oh yeah, our government's definitely callous. They don't, no matter if it's a Republican or a Democrat in office, our government has always been callous towards us. There's a reason why we stay stagnated at 13.5% of the population, and it has very little to do with that. It's partly population control by jail, by different things, pushing out other different media agendas. But our they never want us to be here. Let's just call it what it is. Look at the history. They never want us to be here. They tested on us experimentally. They did stuff like inject us with stuff. That's why some black people to this day are still leery of going to the doctor, because they heard the stories from their grandparents about, hey, they people got tested on. They the Tuskegee Institute. There was a situation in St. Louis where they had an urban area where they were putting out this mist, which was mist that could make you sick,
Yeah.
and there's different things, and it
But
was
then you also got to think about Henrietta Lacks
yeah, yeah,
and other. There's been a lot of people that they've tested stuff on us, and they found out that we were immune to something,
yeah,
or like her, she had they called it an immortal cell,
yeah,
and just kept replicating,
yep.
and they stole it from her. They
Henrietta Lacks, definitely.
they stole part of her body from her.
Yep, and they never paid the family anything.
Then they're never going to.
Yeah,
But the whole thing is, yeah, I understand why people can't be like, why do they always have the male female thing? It's like always, you know, whatever race with a black woman. But it is what it is. It's because it's easier for them to see that than for them to see,
yeah.
black male with a white female.
Queens are definitely winning, though. I give them credit, and we definitely, as black males, need to catch up. One of our future hosts, I was talking to her. She's a black female. She has her own business, and she was just saying like she's in a group here of black females who are either have already started their business, and either quitting their job or do their business. They do their business full time and they make a good living. So it's like I'm like I don't see a group like that of black men here. It's like, are we that divisive with each other that we don't want to see each other succeed? That we don't have
Yeah,
big business groups?
yeah, we do probably somewhere, but haven't heard about them. But
Yeah,
like Gario,
yeah.
what they do, they're constantly pushing each other's businesses.
Yeah, yeah. The big shouts out to Gary O. He does a Mud City Barbecue.
And I have nothing but respect and love for that man,
Yeah,
because
because
they all trying to make sure everybody eat.
yep. Every time I post something, he always reposts it. But he remember when he started his barbecue business, he gave me some flyers. I was putting his flyers 30, 40 miles away from here. Wherever I could put it at, just put it up. Put it in a rest stop. Expressway. Boop. Put this up there. Let me put this up there. Boop. Put
Yeah,
this up there. But it's just because it's. But I know, like, whenever we post something, he shares it on Facebook, and it's just like that's how you got to be. Like we at the mindset where everybody can eat. Some people only want their little select team to eat, and there's some people they could even be your own family. They won't tell you about anything they doing. They won't be like, "Hey, I'm trying to do this." They can just go ahead and do it. And then when you do something, they'll be like, "Why didn't you tell me?" It's just like, man, like you set the precedence. Like so,
yeah,
you can either consider yourself to be like them or you can be inclusive. But black people, especially black men, because black women have the highest percentage of college degrees. Like
Yeah.
that's over Asian men, over Arab men, no matter who you want to include, white men, white women, they have that. And kings need to catch up to the queens because queens out here running it. And I'm happy that they are running it. But at the end of the day, we have to take a page from them and unite because queens now say Black Girl Magic, they uplift each other. I have not really seen too many kings uplifting other kings. They're just trying to do it themselves, which is fine. But the duty of a person, as far as your walk, is to serve. And the best way to serve is help somebody else make it as well as you make it. But you help somebody else make it. You put that stair. You literally, I call it like you get to a plateau and then you get to a level and you dropping stairs for everybody else. You saying everybody else walk up these stairs with me. We all about to eat. That's how you take over. One person can't stop. One person can't stop a movement or can't really start a movement without the rest of the people. You need the rest of the people at some point. So you can start the movement, but you need everybody else to get in line with you. Because we can post the most magical things, but if we have no views, then nobody ever heard us. And
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter at that point.
Well, at least you got the ideas out there, I guess.
Yeah, get the ideas out there. Sometimes your celebrity comes when you're
Yeah.
dead. Or when you stop doing what you're doing. So
Yeah.
it's definitely that. But big shouts out to definitely big ups to Black women, Black men, everybody. It's not that I don't love everybody. I'm just saying, like, we 13.5% of the population, and we need to do better as a people first. Because in my opinion, I'm a Pan Africanist. I'm not afraid to say that you can't be all inclusive to everybody until you actually start putting the plans in motion to help yourselves. And we got to do a better job of helping ourselves. Black women are doing great. Black men, we got to do better helping ourselves. So I'm not gonna sit up here and not criticize one side, but then not criticize one side, but criticize the other. As both as people, we need to all do better.
Yeah, we all need to do better. Honestly, black people, we need to do better with communication in our relationships.
Communication on every level.
Our relationships with our mothers, our fathers, our sons, our daughters, our our actual life partners, our friends. You got friends that might need to talk, that need someone to talk to, and going through hell, and you sitting there like, that ain't my problem.
Yeah,
And these friends are losing it. You got friends who got maybe a good idea, but he's scared to talk it over with you because he thinks you're gonna laugh at him,
yeah.
or she thinks you're gonna laugh at him. When on this whole time y'all could be working on that idea together and building something. We don't communicate, especially black men. We don't communicate.
We hold it all in,
We
and
hold it all in.
then we make brash, bad decisions in some cases.
Yeah,
Not there are no absolutes, so I don't say every Black man holds it, and that is completely wrong. I'm just saying in the totality, we need to do better as far as holding it in. And there's nothing wrong with seeking counseling. I believe some people really need counseling because some of our kids and now these people are young adults have seen so much violence that it is on the level of an Iraq and a Syria, as far
yeah.
as if you stay in a place like Chicago, with all because you talking to I'm watching these interviews with with different people in Chicago,
Surprisingly, it's
and
not just places like Chicago. Here, it's almost as bad.
yeah, I was just giving Chicago because
Yeah,
people who hear this will. You say Toledo, you're like, oh, that ain't bad. Let me throw out Gary, Indiana as well. Let me throw out another city.
yeah.
Maybe Flint. Flint was bad.
They literally say a lot of kids in this city. This is a midtown city.
Mm-hmm.
Have
Also,
seen so much violence and stuff that maybe not as many deaths, but so much violence that they have PTSD.
yeah, I have PTSD. Some kids have problems sleeping. So if you go undiagnosed with years of seeing violence or being, taught violence or seeing your friends and family die, the level like you lose a piece of yourself as that happens. So you grow up to this point where you don't care. And that's when you make brash negative decisions because you've never been taught how to deal with the losses.
Yeah,
And I believe we really need to. Mental health is big. I definitely want to do something with mental health. I'm trying to find somebody. If y'all know anybody
I know
who's
somebody.
over mental health, we definitely need to get a
I,
host in here on
I know
mental health.
somebody. We probably she should probably talk to us.
Okay, well that would be great. We need to get somebody on mental health because mental health is big. I see it all the time. Like I've seen people where they like, oh, that person's funny. Like it was this video, Willie D of the Ghetto Boys put up this video of this cat and he talking crazy and he's throwing up gang signs. He like, I don't care this, that, and the other. And I seen some people laughing like, oh man, that's funny. That dude gangster. And it's like, no, that brother needs help. Like he's probably been through a lot before he got to the level he got to.
Yeah,
That person needs help and he's not even getting the proper help. Just because people think it's funny or it's gangster, people are like, oh, you don't cry, that's weak. That's not weak. That's an emotion. You should cry. If you need to cry, you should cry. There's nothing wrong with talking about your feelings. The problem is it's just hard to find somebody else to talk about it with and put that trust and that confide in. And I feel like women do a lot better job than men.
They do not.
In some cases, I know some girls who got that. Got me and you got a different relationship. Our
No, I'm just
relationship's
I'm, no,
different.
I'm just talking about like being around women most of my life, raised by them, around them. They don't talk to their friends about a lot of this stuff. They talk about like the surface problems, like man problem or something like that. They don't talk about like real issues with most of their girls. Some of them do, some of them don't. Most of them don't.
I believe most of them do. I believe some females take it to the grave. I can't say all because I just said I don't believe in absolutes.
But then
But
also but you also got to remember a huge part of communication is actually listening.
yeah,
There's a lot that's a huge problem with most relationships, especially in the black community. When someone tells you something, we tend to internalize it and make it into an attack on ourselves,
mm-hmm,
and we automatically get defensive.
yeah,
It could be something as simple as a question, and then we get worked up and go into this whole spiel and get real defensive about it.
mm-hmm,
That might not be what the question was about. The question was just a question,
yeah,
simple answer, simple question. But we all have to learn to like. My wife's a teacher, and she talks to parents a lot. And a lot of times, if she tells like, "Hey, your kid is acting up," blah blah blah, parents will get mad and start getting real defensive with their kid. Talking about they don't act like that at home. They don't do this. They don't do that. What are you talking about? That's not my kid. But this whole COVID thing got them calling the teachers like, "You guys are right. My kid's really an asshole."
yeah. I
This is what
mean,
I mean by people got to listen. You know,
people got to listen. Not everybody is out for you or your kids. I know it's the proper attitude to have. It's us against the world, but in some cases, you can have a safe place. You got to find people to have a safe place with, and you should take in some cases professional advice.
some
And
cases.
some cases, and if you,
Remember how you said some cases.
yeah, because I don't
Don't
believe in
don't
absolute.
don't come for us because your daughter got a teacher who really was out for her.
Yeah, because that could happen. Your son or daughter got a teacher that was really out for them, and it could not work. That's what I said. In some cases, you just you
It's
just,
time
you
because
just got to play it by ear. It's almost about that time. I was gonna wrap it up after I made this point.
okay.
Just it's definitely about that. So like I said, I don't believe in absolutes, but I do believe self love is the key. Self love is the key. There's nothing wrong with talking to a professional about your problems. And if you don't even feel comfortable talking with a professional, do you have a best friend that you truly trust? If you don't have a best friend that you truly trust, then I can say you don't even have a best friend because I can tell you anything, and you don't, and hopefully you'll take it to the grave. I got another best friend, Javar. I talk to him about everything, and I have a brother. I got brothers I talk to about everything. My crazy cousin Kenny, I talk to him about everything. I can put everything out there, and it is no judgment zone, and it is beautiful. Some people are like, "How you chill in the house all day with your cousins?" I'm like, "Man, we be having family discussions on business of life and everything, and they tell me when they think I'm right. They tell me when I think I'm wrong. There's nothing better than when I felt like I did something wrong, and I felt like I did something right, and I was wrong, and them telling me I was wrong, and realizing like the wheels turning in my head, like, hey, I really was wrong. So then I'll go back to the person who I may have wronged. I thought I was right, and I'll apologize because I was wrong. And that's part of growth, realizing you're wrong and apologizing and moving forward. Any last words before we get out of here?
No, you guys just be safe.
Man, be safe, stop the
Next couple of weeks are
violence.
probably gonna be crazy.
Be safe, stop the violence. I know we went off the little rails. We talked about the election a little bit. We delved on some issues in the community, and just gotta stick together, man. Like I said, first part of loving anyone is loving yourself. We gotta love ourselves better, but we also have to love each other better, and we have to be understanding. Communication is the key on any level, on any type of relationship, whether it's business or anything. And
Like I said, we're out.
usually I got one more final thing to say.
Let's
Oh,
just wrap it up because
yeah, I was gonna say something poetic, but I don't have anything.
okay, this is Winston and this is your man Cuddy Coastal coming
Follow
from.
us. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Follow us on BS Viewpoint. Subscribe. Always leave a comment. Let us know how you feel. Even if you hate us, at least tell us. That way you know communication is the key, and that's on me. I'm out. Get it how you live. You can stop it. I look great. Thank you.
Attended.